Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Thursday night, I think, and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Um, just hanging out here on a Thursday night. Got a little bit of water bottle in the picture there. Let me move that out of the way. Um, and I think I'm going to work on a coffee horse, as the title suggests. So the deal is, last week I did this really cool picture. I like the style of this in charcoal. And while I was working on it, it was suggested that I should take this picture and try to duplicate it in copy. So, like, I do a lot of copy paintings on this, if you're totally new to this channel. So I think that's going to be a little bit difficult, but challenge accepted. I'm up for any kind of challenge. So I think that one of the challenges for this is usually when I do my copy paintings, they're usually like vertical, and I usually have things dripping down the page. I'm not sure how that's going to look here horizontal like this, but I'll give it a shot, see how it goes. I just want to shut this off. This is a really cool picture. Anyway. If it's all the same to you guys, I'm just going to jump right in. Feel free to hang out with me in the chat. And, I see Rum Dog's in here already. That's cool. That is enough for me to get started. Get a full view. As you can see, I already kind of sketched out where I think the horse is going to be on the page because I do kind of want to make sure that I can fit it all. Again, this is going to be a little bit challenging because most of my coffee paintings are done portrait versus landscape. And also, I don't usually do full body animals in my copy paintings, so that's going to be a little bit different too. But as long as we capture the spirit of my copy paintings, kind of the similar style that I'm used to, I think that'll be fine. But I'm going to start with the same process I usually do, which is come in and just kind of add a little bit of a pool of stuff that can drip and work gravity there. Hey, we got Larry in the house. Cool. All right. Rome hadn't said anything, so I'm always a little bit nervous that I forgot to hit stream on this thing because I've done that before. I spent an entire stream talking to myself one time, as most of you guys already know. All right, so I'm going to use some gravity here, and I'm going to just see how this drips. If I can get some drips. Come on, gravity. All right, so that's not wanting to drip there. I need to add a little bit more. There we go. That should drip. Yeah. All right, let's try this again with some gravity. Hey, Lorraine, how's it going? Hopefully you guys are having a good Thursday evening or afternoon, depending on where you're at. There you go. Got a little bit of drips in there. That's enough to get started. Again, I'm not used to doing pictures this way, so I'm not sure how this is going to turn out stylistically, but I'm going to kind of deviate a little bit from my usual process and go ahead and get some splatters going, because the splatters, I think, are going to represent kind of the mud flying in this picture, which will give me a good start as far as like inspiration. But yeah, I think it was Kid who suggested doing a coffee painting of this horse. So let's blame Kid if it doesn't work out right. I think it's going to work out. I like doing coffee paintings, and if I don't do at least one a week, I feel like I'm not living up to my potential. I don't know how long this is going to take because it's kind of a tiny horse comparatively. This is 9 by 12 paper, but because it's a full figured horse, there's not like a lot of space to fill up. My Thursday is going great, Larry. I appreciate you asking. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I got a lot accomplished this week, which is to say, I didn't finish anything, but I made progress on things, and that's all that really matters. So to me, this weekend might actually be a little bit relaxing. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not even sure what's going on this weekend. I hate that. I hate not knowing ahead of time what my plans are going to be. Maybe this weekend I will go to that art museum in Cincinnati. I've been tinkering with that idea. I think maybe this is a weekend to go because they have that art after dark type thing. That'd be kind of cool. Just go up there, have some fun walking around the museum, maybe take some video, things like that. Yeah, Friday's only one day away. That's what I like about doing these streams on Thursdays. You go to bed, you wake up, it's Friday. It's awesome. Like, I don't know anybody who doesn't like a Friday. Some of you guys actually had a short week this week with work. Like, you might have had Juneteenth off, depending on what kind of work you do. This it was in the middle of the week though. Like, I don't know what days they give people off for that. If it's in the middle of the week. You probably had Wednesday off. There is there's a fair in town. And I feel like I'm a little too old to be going to fairs. Like I feel like that's for like teenagers or something like that. But it's still kind of cool to go by and look at it. I might do that. Like I feel like there's a there's a drawing in me of a um, big old Ferris wheel in the sky at a carnival. I feel like I can do that. I don't know how that would look. Like that cat I did on Tuesday is probably the most colorful motion type picture I've done. I think if it was like that, that might capture the spirit of a carnival. But yeah, it's in the you might actually hear it. Maybe not tonight. I don't know. It depends on how long the stream goes. Um, but the big calliope music and I guess that's what carnival music is, calliope music. Maybe that's just for steamboats. But you might actually hear that in the background because the park that they have the fair in is like I don't know, less than a mile away. Like they have tractor pulls over there sometimes, and I can hear the tractor pulls. That's why I don't do a lot of like Saturday night streaming because sometimes they have tractor pulls over there. Sometimes they have like a movie in the park, and you can actually hear it. Like I've heard the theme song to Frozen a couple of times coming from that park over there. Because you know those movies in the park, they're always like kid friendly type things, Disney type productions. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard "Let It Snow." Never did mind the snow. I can't. I can't do that. I don't know that song, obviously, because I'm not a 10-year-old girl. I don't know the words to Frozen. My niece does. Larry says, take a camera to the fair and catch something that you might want to draw or paint later. Yeah, I think I might actually do that because that would be a challenge all in itself, wouldn't it? I mean, for one, it'd have to be colorful, especially if you're doing like the big Ferris wheel. I think that's what it's called. Um, if you're doing that, it has to be colorful, and then also you have to somehow demonstrate movement, which I've been practicing. Like this horse here is supposed to show movement, but it's not as easy or straightforward as you may think. So I like that. All right, challenge accepted, Larry. I will do that. So I just have to remember, and I do drink a lot, so hopefully I'll remember. By the way, I haven't had a chance to reply to the comments, but you guys coming up with origin stories for that cat that I did on Tuesday, you guys are freaking creative. You guys should be a bunch of creative writers for real. Like some of the stories you guys have come up with, they're pretty funny. I need to highlight the best ones. They're all good. I don't know what I mean by best ones, but yeah, you guys really rise to all the different challenges that I come up with for you guys. So the least I can do is the challenges you guys come up with for me. So if you are saying it is a challenge to go to the park and do a drawing of some fair type thing, I'm up for it. I will take that challenge. I don't know how that's supposed to work though. I don't. I really don't know how to draw something from a fair. But that's what it's all about. It's about pushing your limits. See what you can do. Because I do things like that all the time. I do things that I don't know how to do. I do things that like scare me, things that I'm not sure of, and that's what the whole thing's all about. That's what the process is all about. So I think this horse is looking pretty good so far. I mean, it's got a ways to go, obviously, but we're already getting some values in here. That's good. I do like the pose of this horse. Like some of the comments I got on the charcoal horse, which I should probably, I don't think I have enough room here to put it in the picture, but you guys are pretty familiar with it. The comments I got on that horse is that it's like all jacked up, like it's on steroids, things like that. I mean, this is pretty common for a horse. Horses do end up with like a lot of body mass and muscles and stuff, especially the uh, the horses that participate in competitions. If you think about jumping over like gates and stuff, I mean, they have to be pretty physically fit. Now, you got some skinny old nags and stuff out in the fields. Those are usually ones that aren't taken care of very well, but the certainly the athletic horses. By the way, you guys are going to see some of these athletic horses if you care to in the upcoming Olympics. That is right around the corner, and the equestrian events are, they're not the most popular pieces of the Olympics, but they do show them. They especially the bigger, more notable parts of it. So you'll be able to see horses compete out there with the show jumping and dressage. I'm trying to think what else is at the Olympic level. Probably the cross country. All of that stuff is going on. I mean, that's the organization I used to work for. Is the people who send the horses to the Olympics. It is crazy, by the way. Like, if you guys are ever interested in that kind of stuff, like I'm happy to talk about it. How they actually get the horses to the Olympics. There's some videos and stuff about how they board them up to plane and to like send them over there by plane, things like that. The Olympics this year are in France, I think. Pretty sure. So they have to package up all these horses and actually take them by plane over to France. It's pretty cool. Pablo Clyde Confetti, Desmond Lapis or Lazuli. Would love to see you draw or paint something like that, I would think. Yeah, that's the cat from the other day, by the way. I asked the viewers to come up with like a name and an origin story for that kitty, and they did not disappoint. For those of you who didn't watch this stream the other day, go and check it out. It's on my channel page. It's they came up with some great names for it. All right, I think this horse needs a face, so I'm gonna focus on the face. I think what I like about painting and coffee is it's so relaxing. Like it's almost like drinking, like sitting down with a cup of coffee and just drinking the coffee. I really need to take this to a coffee shop. Like, there's no reason why I can't do. I mean, I don't know if I can stream from the coffee shop. That's what I should test. I should test doing a stream from a coffee shop. But there's no reason why I can't do artwork from a coffee shop. They're not going to run me off while I'm working on the like a piece, especially if I'm using coffee. Like if I say that I'm using their coffee, or if I just use their coffee, they might actually give me free coffee. That'd be awesome. Man, I just can't. I don't know why that didn't occur to me before. Like, go to a coffee shop and say, like, look, man, I want to stream to my 5 viewers. I want to I want to stream to my 5 viewers a coffee painting, and I'm going to plug your coffee shop here on the off chance that one of them might actually come and patronize your business. Be a patron of your business. There you go, whatever it is. Um, so how about a free cup of coffee? I think that would work. Because that's really what this channel is all about. It's about getting free coffee. I think that's a good plan. I mean, it probably wouldn't work at like I don't know. Starbucks actually gives away a lot of free coffee. Like they give you free coffee on your birthday. They give you free coffee. Um, I don't know. Like I feel like you can walk into a Starbucks and give like just a sad story, and they'll give you a cup of coffee. So I think this would work. Maybe at certainly for like a smaller coffee shop, like a mom and pop type coffee shop. If you go in there and you're like, hey, I want to paint this horse while drinking your coffee, maybe. Maybe they'll give you a cup of coffee. It's worth a try, right? Free coffee? Nothing wrong with that. We'll paint for coffee. It's a pretty horse so far. I'm liking this horse. Get some details in. The only concern I've got for this particular picture is that it is so small. You get like so much area covered pretty quickly that will this dry enough for me to come back and put in like higher layers fast enough? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, kids in the room. Yeah, kid, this was your idea. The what we're working on tonight is taking that charcoal picture of a horse. This guy. Let's see. There we go. This guy, and translating him to coffee per your challenge. So this one's kids challenge, and then okay, Larry's challenge is to do a carnival picture um this weekend sometime. I don't know, like maybe I'll do that this maybe I'll do the picture this weekend. Maybe I'll wait until Tuesday to do the picture based on something I saw at the carnival this weekend. I don't know, is carnival the right name? Fair. It's a county fair. They also have other things. So like I walked over there, what was it? What's tonight? Thursday? Maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, I walked over there yesterday and they were doing truck races. Like they uh they have this like drag strip there and basically like you get your old beater truck and you go out there and it seems like it's an open competition, like you just show up and they'll let you into it. But you basically drive your truck through the mud and I guess they time you or something, and then somebody else comes in and does theirs, and the announcer says something, and that's what they were doing yesterday. I thought it was pretty cool. There's certain like redneck sports, definitely trucks in the mud and stuff qualify for that. So that's what you get around here in Kentucky, and I like it. I mean, that's one of the things I like about Kentucky. There's things I don't like about Kentucky, but certainly when it comes to you know that kind of stuff, absolutely, absolutely. Show me some trucks in the mud, make a competition out of it. I'm sold. Doing the same horsing copy this time. Yeah. Larry says, "Hi kid, what's your favorite horse's name?" Rum Dog says, "Hey kid, you made it." Okay, Larry says, "Jeremy, don't just take pictures of the carnies." Yeah, those carnies they're kind of sketchy, aren't they? Like, what that's a weird job, right? Like, you're always traveling. Like, they can't be their like only job. I don't know. Actually, carnivals last pretty far into the like they they spend their summer months up in northern states, and then for the fall and winter they head down south. Like I remember when I lived in Central Florida, that's when they would have their fairs, and the reason why is because the carnival that like they rent out these the equipment and everything. So obviously they're not doing ones up north where it's super cold. So they have their festivals down, fall and Christmas and stuff down in Florida. Kid says favorite horse would be Lightning, of course. Great name for a horse. Kind of an inside joke. All right, so I think this is a pretty good horse so far. I feel comfortable getting into the weeds now as far as details and adding some like darker areas because I feel like this is pretty good. So I've talked about the process before for these coffee paintings. Basically, you've got the coffee on the paper, and to get do the dark areas because this is the number one thing I see that other people struggle with in their coffee paintings. They end up doing something like this and calling it a day, and this is fine if you're looking for like an abstract watercolor kind of coffee deal. But really, if you can get that syrupy kind of consistency to your coffee then you have the ability to come in and add some darker details, which is where I think that my coffee paintings, not to brag or anything, but my coffee paintings really kind of start standing out. Because I see a lot of people when they're, man, I think I just burped up cucumber for some reason. I don't even remember the last time I had a cucumber. Why am I burping up cucumbers? Oh, because I had a pickle. Sorry. That's has nothing to do with anything. Anyway, back to the, yeah, you can create some really cool effects with darker coffees and stuff. And not to brag, I think mine really really shines because of the patience it takes with adding the darker layers. Sorry, I went off on a tangent about the cucumber. I don't know, like you would think that a pickle would taste fundamentally different than a cucumber when you cough it up. But that's the only thing I had. It was a pickle. I don't usually have pickles on my sandwiches. That's what it is. And I've been I've been putting pickles on my sandwiches lately, so I'm a little surprised that when I burp up a pickle, like all the vinegar and stuff is gone though. Like that burp was solidly a cucumber. It's not like I eat a lot of cucumbers either. Every now and then I have them on salad or I have sushi or something like a California roll. Just forget about the whole cucumber thing. Moving along. Anyway, yeah, it's these darker effects. A lot of people when they I think I think a lot of people when they work on coffee paintings, they do it kind of as a just like an experiment, just to check it out, see what all the hype is about. They don't really take it seriously like I do. I actually enjoy it as a medium. For me, I actually really enjoy painting and coffee. Like I enjoy this just as much as I enjoy any of the other work I do. I was thinking about making like a highlight reel of my favorite art that I've done for like on YouTube when you go to a page, you have that one video up at the top and everything. I think I should do like a show reel of like my favorite paintings or my favorite drawings and stuff for that. Definitely my coffee paintings would be in there. Because I just like how they turn out. I just enjoy drawing or painting in coffee, not drawing. Feels like drawing sometimes, but only on like the top layers. The, the current, by the way, hi, Huli. Sorry, totally got distracted there with the whole burping thing. The problem is like I do these live streams at 8 o'clock and 8 o'clock my time. And there's not a lot of like time between when I eat and when I come on these streams, so I'm always burping up stuff. Usually it's like tacos or like pizza or something like that. I was a little bit like surprised by a pickle burp because, like I said, I don't put pickles on my sandwiches a lot. It was kind of a little surprising to me. I'm totally off topic. Dog says, them Carney neighbors were like a whack-a-mole, and there was five of them, and each of them would pop their head over the fence asking for a joint. Okay, Larry says, my better half jarred some cucumbers today. Nice. So you make your own pickles, I guess? That's cool. Alan K says, I only paint in double chai latte, frappuccino, Alfredo. Alfredo. One of these words is not like the other there, Alan. I think Alfredo is for your pasta, man. Not your drinks. I do like Alfredo though. Alfredo is like some of the best pasta. She says, "Have you ever tried painting with pickle juice?" No, but I have seen that people can paint with beet juice, which is not pickle juice, but kind of in the same genre. I would give it a try as a it's kind of like a novelty thing just to see if I can do it and how fun it might be. But the problem is with it just like I don't know, just painting with random condiments is not all of them are going to last. Or not all of them are going to like survive the test of time. So beet juice is going to make a really cool kind of almost like wine color. I've seen somebody do it. It comes off like looking kind of like a rose color. Like you can actually do a really cool rose with beet juice. But the problem is, I don't know, like I don't know if it'll last. Like it looks like it kind of loses its color and fades and things like that over time versus coffee. I've been doing these coffee paintings for a while, and I give them to people sometimes, and they hang them up on the wall, and they hang them up sometimes in direct sunlight and stuff like that. Now I do spray them down with like a UV protection, but beyond that, I haven't seen any kind of degradation over time with these coffee paintings. My I've never seen somebody who painted coffee 100 years ago. That's something I should probably look up. But um, so I don't know if it'll survive forever, but I have not seen these coffee paintings really degrade over time. So that's kind of one of the reasons I like them. Now I'll try painting in beet juice just for fun. If you guys want me to do that, I'll go out and get some beet juice this weekend. Although I don't know what else I'm going to do with the beet juice. I don't know if I've ever actually eaten beet juice or drank beet juice, or I probably have eaten beets at one point. I just don't, I can't even remember what they taste like. Um, but anyway, yeah, so like my concern there would be whether or not they actually last for a while. These coffee paintings, they do. Um, Again, I don't know if the coffee painting that I do would last like 500 years, but I'd be very surprised if they didn't last, several decades. Um, if not like 100 years. Like the paper's going to last. The paper's nice watercolor paper. The the picture itself, it's sprayed down with UV protection. It's affixed to the paper. I really don't see any reason why it wouldn't last as well. I think you've got a keeper with the coffee paintings. Beet juice, I'm not so sure. So anyway, the question was pickle juice. So the problem with pickle juice, I would imagine, is the same problem with painting with wine or any of these other things that sound interesting. It's like, how do you actually get the dark values out of it? So with this coffee, I can actually control the amount of water involved, and I can get these really dark values. And it's the dark values that really give it the the details and so on. Like if I just did something like this, yeah, sure, okay, that's fine. But it's the reduced amount of water and the darkness in the actual picture that gives it the details. I don't think I could do that with pickle juice. I could get a very faint pickle juice picture out of it, probably stain it. It'd be like lightly tinted pickle. Of course, now that I think about it, try that. I should try that, and I know exactly what I should try. I should try a picture of Pickle Rick, like from Rick and Morty. Absolutely, that's something I should try. I should try that, even knowing that it's gonna fail. Like I know that I really can't do a picture in pickle juice, but I'm willing to try just to do a portrait of Pickle Rick. Yeah, so that's the overall problem. Like actually getting the dark values out of it. It's the same problem with painting with wine. I've seen some people paint with wine, but what they're Jeremy's boiling down pickles all weekend. Yeah, absolutely. Beets are earthy. Goes great in borscht. I don't know what borscht is. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll try beets, but that is not my that's definitely an experiment in itself. But yeah, I've seen people try to paint with wine, for example, and you get this kind of nice pink out of it, and for some people that's enough. Like they're happy with it and stuff, and it's all like painting with watercolor, but you're not getting a lot of strong pigment out of it. I don't even know if pigment's the right term, but you're not getting a lot of strong color out of it for sure. And you have to be pretty happy with like a very very light picture, which I'm not, like to me that's not um that's not going to look very nice. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I do kind of want to pick up right now. Hey Ben, got the Treasure Warriors in here. Yeah, so what we're working on for those who just popped in is we are doing a redo of the horse that we did last week in charcoal because the challenge was hey, that would look kind of cool in coffee in one of your coffee paintings. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you it would. And it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do it. And it's like, when am I gonna do it? Well, hey, I felt like doing it today. So that's basically the entire process there, or the entire line of thinking. So that's what we're working on today. And we're just hanging out, chatting, like usual, because you guys are a great group. I think of this more as like a hangout group than an art group, because like some of you guys care what I'm actually working on, but most times you guys don't actually care what I'm working on. You just like hanging out. So I like it. I mentioned I think Tuesday that I was watching True Detective Night Country. Finally finished that up. I actually finished that up this morning. I don't know that like it was pretty good. I'm surprised by the ratings. So like if you go on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, it seems like the audience is like so-so on it. Like it got pretty good critical reviews, but the audience seemed like eh. I think some of that is because the first season is so good, and then the past couple of seasons, well, they barely ever make it with these shows, but um, yeah, they kind of had like a misfire with season two, and season three was okay, but nothing's captured the spirit of the season one. So I think that's where some of the disconnect is, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. The last episode of Night Country was a little weak, I think. I think that's a fair criticism. Um, but the rest of the season was pretty strong. Like like the actual reveal and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil it, but um, the actual reveal of like what all happened and stuff. I felt like that was a little weak. That could have been a little bit better, but beyond that, it was just a pretty good show. Jodie Foster, she still got it. She's a great actress. I was thinking like Jodie Foster that I remember growing up. Like I'm of the age that maybe I saw Jodie Foster probably first time in like Silence of the Lambs. I know that some people probably saw her for the first time in like Taxi Driver way back in the day, but probably my first viewing was Silence of the Lambs. So uh, I think she's still got it. She's a really good actress. I'm surprised she doesn't do more, to be honest. Kid said, "We love your art with the side of occasional FF talk." Yeah, you can talk about Force Fin. I don't mind. I like Force Fin. I'm a huge fan, super fan, Force fan. For those of you who tune in just because you're like into the art and stuff, a lot of my viewers come from a treasure hunting community that I hang out in. Uh, we were all looking for the Force Fin treasure, and so a lot of the communities from that. So we talk about that sometimes. We talk about other treasure hunts every now and then. Actually, I really don't know what other treasure what other treasure hunts you guys participate in. I know that I'm always up for a good puzzle. I've been working on a crypto treasure hunt lately, and then there's this other big treasure hunt that's coming out. I think in fall. A lot of people are looking forward to that. Unfortunately, there's not like a ton of info, so I don't really know what the conversation would be about on that because like literally no info. But that's gonna be a book. So I'll probably get that book when it comes out. I haven't pre-ordered it or anything like that. I know a lot of people have. I'm one of those people who wait to find out what kind of treasure hunt it's going to be to see if it's worth my I mean, I don't want to be like, that's beneath me or anything like that. That's not the case. It's just, if it's a particularly like if it's like one of those, what do they call it, Codebreaker Charlie treasure hunts. um I mean, that's tough. That's tough. That's not for me. And it's not for me, but not because I don't have confidence in my ability to solve it. It's that who's got the time, right? I don't. I'm not retired. I can't spend um, all my time thinking about a treasure hunt that's ultimately it's like playing the lottery. Lottery ultimately, that's your chances of winning. Um, but you never know. Like, somebody's got to win the lottery. That's what I tell myself. Um, so I'll probably participate anyway. It's just I kind of want to wait and see what kind of a treasure hunt it is before I really sink my teeth into it. And then there's some questions about whether or not the whole Forrest Fenn treasure hunt is truly done, or if there's going to be like a Chase 2.0, for example. Forrest Fenn passed away. Now, for those of you who don't know, since we're talking about it, Forrest Fenn is a was a gallery owner, art gallery owner, in the Santa Fe area. He was like kind of the go-to guy. I've talked about him before on this channel, but he was kind of the go-to guy for any kind of like Southwestern art during the 1980s and that time period. Like a lot of celebrities who, celebrities usually live out west. So like when you live out west, you want Western decor. So when you want Western decor, who do you go to? You go to Forrest Fenn. That's basically how he made his money, um, and he made a lot of money. I think they said his net worth was like around 15 million. I think it was something like that. Um, in the early 2000s. I think he put that in his bio, which is pretty awesome as like a like just an art dealer. I mean, that's pretty cool. But he worked with like celebrities, finding like what's the line in Indiana Jones? Obtainer of rare antiquities. So he was the obtainer of rare paintings and Native American art and stuff like that. There's some controversy on how he obtained it. That's actually should probably be mentioned. Like, you know, he's a controversial figure. Um, but yeah, he was an obtainer of Southwest American art and Native American artifacts, things like that. He owned his own pueblo, which is kind of cool. Um, in San Lazaro and somewhere in New Mexico. I'm not sure I ever figured out where that was. I think it was like within an hour of Santa Fe, but I don't remember exactly. Um, but yeah, he owned that place and he did his own like amateur archaeology recovery of artifacts and stuff. And I think a lot of those artifacts did end up in his gallery for sale. But he made a ton of money, and then later in life, he got sick, developed cancer, and he's like, "Wow, maybe I'm gonna die at some point." He was only in his 50s at the time, so I'm sure it came as like a huge shock to him. And according to the story, he was given a 20% chance of living, which isn't very high. Like if somebody told me I have a 20% chance of waking up tomorrow, I'd probably be doing something else than drawing this picture or painting this picture. Um, I would definitely be guzzling this bourbon, and then I would be over there at the fair riding the Ferris wheel because I only got like 24 hours to live or less. So anyway, 20% chance of living is not great. So, you know, he got the cancer. He's like, well, this sucks. And he did what most people do in that situation. I have no idea. I've never been in that situation, but he took stock of his life and he decided, hey, I want to kind of give back. And he's like, I'm gonna hide a treasure chest in the Rocky Mountains. I'm gonna challenge people to come and find it. So that's what he did. Um, but he didn't do it until much later because he actually got better. And that's the twist is that he was sick. He's about to call it quits. In fact, he was gonna go on his own terms. He was gonna end it himself. He's gonna go out there and just die on this treasure chest. which is a cool story. You know, like that's kind of how you want your treasure hunts to go. I mean, you want an awesome story like that. But he likes to joke that the problem is that he actually got better, and you know, obviously that's a joke because we're all happy that he did. But he actually ended up living to be like 90 years old. So like this happened when he was like 58, and you know, it's pretty amazing that he ended up living. I mean, at 58, that's almost it's almost 60% of his life. I don't know. I'm not very good at math. I'm just thinking off the cuff, but like 60% of his life occurred before this diagnosis, and then but he still had like a 40% afterwards. Like he lived to be 90 years old. So like I mean that's many decades after this diagnosis. But anyway, he ended up getting better, and instead of just scrapping the plans, he decided to go ahead and go through with it. But he went through with it like later. He was like 80 when he ended up hiding that treasure chest. And the treasure chest itself had like $1 million worth of gold in it, which is awesome. You know, as far as like actual treasure hunts go, I mean, that's pretty cool because this is like a real treasure hunt. This is like the type of story that you only hear for like pirates and Goonies and stuff. And, like, who doesn't want to live their own like Goonie story? So anyway, that's why I was attracted to it. I thought it was pretty cool. Um, I got into it in like 2015, so it's been a while. Um, Larry says, another searcher sent me two pottery pieces from his find. Oh, okay, yeah. So like that's some of the stuff he used to get from out of San Lazaro. So that's really cool that you got some of that because you know, that kind of historical stuff. Like it's not like they're making more of it. You know, the thing about history is it's already happened, so it's not like they're like creating new historical like pottery pieces. I don't know. Well, actually, maybe they are, but you have to wait a while. So it's kind of cool that you got some of those like rare and irreplaceable artifacts. So anyway, he did end up living to be 90 years old. At the age of 80, he ended up hiding a treasure chest with $1 million worth of gold. Like it literally came out to be like 1.3 million because when it was found, it was put up for auction. I think that's what it went for. So that's quite a bit of loot. And the interesting thing about it, this is really why I got into it. That sort of treasure hunt is never going to happen again. The only reason why he got away with it is because he was older than dirt. I mean, the guy was 80 years old when he hit it. If somebody my age went off and hid that kind of money, man, you're like opening yourself up for all kinds of lawsuits and stuff. And you know, especially the way he did it. And the way he did it, and this is the real reason why it would never happen again, is Forrest Fenn was born in 1930. All right, he was literally old school. He lived the part, right? So like when you look at this guy, you literally thought, hey, here's a guy from the 1930s, Texas cowboy. You know, he basically lived the entire like vibe that he gave off. Like he felt like an authentic guy. So like, all right, let's go back to Goonies, right? So when you watch Goonies and you hear about One Eye Willie, you know, you hear these stories about One Eyed Willie, and then you finally see the body of One Eyed Willie. Spoiler alert. At some point, and you know the skeleton and everything like that. You look at him and you're like, yeah, that guy looks the part, right? Well, Forrest Fenn was alive; he wasn't a skeleton or whatever. But when you looked at Forrest Fenn, you're like, yeah, okay, this seems like the crazy guy who would hide a treasure chest out in the Rocky Mountains. Um, but also his story. So he wrote a book, and in the book it's supposed to have like clues and stuff to find this treasure. Like there was a poem and all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty famous. Like you like don't take my version of the story. Go and watch. Josh Gates did a really good episode on it. On was it what's the name of that show? Destination Unknown, something like that. Anyway, go read somebody else's description of it. But anyway, for me, it seemed like a really authentic treasure hunt. Like it felt like this is looking for cowboys loot or pirates treasure or something like that. A lot of people are like, oh, this is something that you would take your family on, on vacation and stuff, and you go look for it. It's a big family affair. Nah. To me, it was this like old Western kind of like cowboy hit his loot kind of thing. Like if you were looking for Billy the Kid's treasure, or you were looking for Frank and Jesse James, who were born around here, like their parents, like Frank and Jesse James' parents are actually from this area that I live in. So that kind of stuff attracted me to it. I grew up on like treasure hunt stories like Goonies and Young Guns and uh, Billy the Kid stories and Indiana Jones and all of these different things. It was just all like awesome, right? And then here's this like real treasure hunt where you can go out and look for real loot and all that stuff. You ain't never gonna see that stuff again. Thanks, MJ. I'm just meandering. Um, if you're saying I'm doing a good job, I appreciate it. But yeah, so like it was pretty cool. And the thing is, it kind of came into my life at a time in my life where it's like I was a little bored. I was looking for adventure. Um, I was I'm a man of a certain age, and you know, to me, it seemed like a lot of fun. And so in 2015, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go looking for that thing, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be easy. I thought, man, yeah, I can totally find this. So obviously I didn't, but in 2015 I went looking for it, and I was kind of hooked. And I didn't find it obviously, but I still kind of stayed in it. And I was like, like, all right. So I went in 2015 looking for the treasure, and when I didn't find it, I'm like, well, I gave it a shot. It was fun. I had a fun trip. I went with my dad and my two brothers, and it was a good bonding moment, all that stuff. But we didn't find it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, right? But then I started like kind of gaming the system, and I'm like, well, I don't know, was I close? Right? These are the thoughts we always had whenever we went looking, right? The question is, thanks, MJ, I appreciate it. Um, so the question is like, was I even close? I don't know. Um, so I'm like, well, okay, I don't know if I'm close, but I have a way to figure it out, right? So I start gaming the system, and I'm like, he gives an update every year in February where he says how many clues have been solved. Like this is back in 2015. Eventually, he stopped doing that. The key was to claim it as long as you're not too late. um, so back in 2015, he would give an update every year, and he would say how many clues have been solved, and it was always ever two clues. He would always say like only two clues have been solved. Nobody solved more than two clues or whatever. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, there were like nine clues total. There were nine clues in a poem, and nobody ever made more progress than two clues. Okay, so that was the deal. So I went searching in 2015, and I'm like, well, if he gives that update and he says that nobody solved more than two clues, I know I'm out. There's no point in pursuing. It was a fun time. I had a great time. There's no point in continuing on, right? So anyway, lo and behold, at the end of 2015, he says it's some progress has been made. Maybe three to four clues have been solved. So I'm like, oh shit, because 2015 he hid the treasure in 2010. So for 5 years, 5 years there had been no progress whatsoever on that treasure hunt. Nobody had gotten any closer than two clues on solving that treasure, um, or solving that poem or whatever. And then lo and behold, the first year that I'm involved, of course, I'm awesome, right? The first year I'm involved, some may have solved three to four clues. So I'm like, well, crap. So where I was perfectly happy hanging up my treasure hunting hat and calling it a day and everything like that, he gave this progress report that said that yeah, progress actually had been made in 2018 or 2015. Sorry, and and I'm like, well, that sucks because now you have to ask the question, as I'm sure all of you guys did who participated. you have to ask, well, was it me? What was I the one that made progress? I didn't know. So I went back to the poem and I'm looking at my clues, I'm looking at my solution, and I'm like, well, maybe I screwed up at clue number 3 or something like that, and maybe it was us. I don't know. So I'm like, well, well now I got to go back, right? So in 2016, I'm like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try again and see how it goes. So anyway, that's the start of a lot of trips out to New Mexico for sure. Started in 2015. I went out there and it was ambiguous at the end of 2015 whether or not I was close. In hindsight, obviously, I wasn't close because they said it was found in Wyoming. So I wasn't close at all. But, back in 2015, there was still a chance. You never know. So in 2015, I thought, yeah, maybe I was close. And that kept me going until 2019, I think. By 2019, I had gone out there enough times where I'm like, I ain't going to find this even if it is out there. So here's the problem. Here's the problem, guys. All right. And for those of you who went searching, you guys already know this. But for those of you who have never participated in a boots on the ground treasure hunt in the Rocky Mountains, here's the thing. Here's the actual thing. When you go out looking for treasure, and this is a 1 foot by 1 foot box filled with gold, and there's enough gold in that box to make you a millionaire, like $1.3 million. That's nothing to sneeze at. But it's a 1 foot by 1 foot box in the Rocky Mountains. I don't know if any of you guys have been to the Rocky Mountains, but all you have to really do is like pull up Google and look for pictures of the Rocky Mountains. And you're going to go out there and you're going to be like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to find this thing. It's easy. I'm a genius. I can figure out this poem. It's easy, right? But here's the thing. When you're actually out there, that freaking treasure chest could be like 5 feet away, like over there in that corner of this room. It could be over there under a bush and you would never know. That's what the Rocky Mountains actually look like. And that's what they don't tell you when you go treasure hunting. That the treasure could be 5 feet away from you and you could still miss it. And here's the problem. When you live in Kentucky and it takes you 20 hours to drive out there, like on the way back from looking, you're already working in your mind how you may have missed it. Like it could have been like 5 feet away from you and you wouldn't even know. And when you're driving 20 hours back to Kentucky from the Rocky Mountains, that's all you're thinking about is like, man, I should have tried this. I should have tried that. I should have tried whatever. And then that's how you're hooked. That's how you're hooked. And that's how you end up spending five years of your life looking for that treasure. It's almost like a job, a career almost. And then, eventually it was found. Not by me. Not by any of you guys, probably. I don't know. Hi, Jack. Are you watching? But eventually it was found by someone. And, then the questions started coming in. And you start wondering, like, well, how close was I? So obviously I wasn't very close. I was a New Mexico searcher, so I wasn't very close at all. Because apparently, and this is verified, of course, Finn said it was found in Wyoming. There's people who dispute that. Like, there's people who think that even that's part of like a conspiracy or something. But I think it's probably true that it was found in Wyoming. I mean, that's where the guy said it was. Who am I to disagree? But anyway, it was found in Wyoming, so I wasn't even close. But then, I am kind of curious about. I spent. Thanks, Bavetta. I appreciate it. I spent 5 years looking for that thing, so I am kind of curious about where it was found. I have never been to Wyoming. It's on my bucket list. I would love to go to Yellowstone. It sounds awesome. People who go there, they'd say it's great and everything. I saw some buffalo, but I would like to see a buffalo in the middle of the street, like what you got in Yellowstone. Sounds great. But anyway, so I don't know anything about Wyoming. So when people start talking about like, well, where was it in Wyoming? I have no point of reference. People talk about these places like 9 Mile Hole and stuff. I've never been there. People talk about like Lamar Valley. I've never been there. These are all foreign terms to me. I have never heard any of these words before. but I started getting interested in it, and even though like my my history as a treasure hunter is a rather short and failed one. Between 2015 and 2019, going out there looking in New Mexico and not finding it and stuff. I'm still curious. I still love the story. It's a great American treasure hunt. It's like cowboys and pirates and all that stuff. I mean, what's not to love? So of course I'm interested in where it was. Um, of course I'm interested in hearing more stories, whether they're from Forest Winds Bio, which wasn't available back in 2020, or the years that I was searching. Of course I'm interested in that kind of stuff. Of course I'm interested in any kind of story that Shiloh might have as his grandson. His grandson who basically it just seemed like he was like, yeah, I mean, basically, he seemed to adore Forrest Fenn as much as anybody else. Hanging on his every word, looking for like, life advice and stuff. I want to hear what Shiloh has to say. Um, am I super curious where that treasure was? Not really. I mean, to me, it's like it wasn't at my spot, so what does it matter? But I am kind of curious. What the story is there, where it was, all of that jazz. Same as any natural person. I mean, it's something that occupied 5 years of my life, and it's not just 5 years of your life. It's 5 years of your life where you're not obsessed about it, but you're thinking about it like a lot because you really want to. First off, you look at the picture of the gold, right? You want that gold. It was beautiful gold. Um, that treasure chest was a work of art, and it is beautiful. So like you look at all that gold, and you're like, man, I would love to have that gold. Yes, please, thank you. I know I have to earn it and everything, but like, can't we just give it to me or something like that? That would be great. Yeah, you basically want that gold. It's beautiful, and so you spend 5 years deep in thought about how to solve that treasure hunt, and you know, it's a significant portion of one's life, and it's the story's not really over because they didn't say where it was. They didn't. The guy who found it, uh, for whatever reason, he didn't say where it was. He's given a couple of reasons why, and none of them really sound plausible. I mean, all of it's up for debate. Um, so I get it, and also the community. The community is kind of cool. It's nice to hang out with the community. So even if I didn't have questions about like where it was and all that stuff, it's still kind of cool to hang out with the community, talk about it, and things like that. Because community is created by people of like interest and shared experience, and you know, even though I didn't really hang out with the community that much when the hunt was active, because like you guys were all a bunch of competitors who was after my gold. Um, like, after the fact, now that it's over and we're all a bunch of losers, yeah, I think it's kind of cool to hang out with you guys. Uh, you guys are pretty nice. And then, a lot of you guys like my art and you hang out with me and chat in the art room, so I appreciate it. It's cool. Thanks. Yeah, Rome Dog, I love this community. I don't know if you searched for Forest Fence treasure, but that would have been kind of cool. I think you would have enjoyed that, Rome Dog. But yeah, I mean, one door closes and like another door opens somewhere else. So even though that treasure hunt has ended, there's still other treasures to be found. You hear about these things sometimes in the news. There was a hoard in Kentucky um, that was found not too long ago. I think it was last year. That one I think was actually worth way more than Forrest Fenn's treasure. Now that wasn't something that there were clues for or anything like that. That was actually Civil War money that somebody hid on like a farm, and some guy found it with a metal detector. But the promise of treasures is like it's nice when you have a poem with clues in it and you can like actually try to find these things. But just the promise of treasures in general and stuff, that's still a thing. I hope that never goes away. I don't think there'll ever be like a treasure hunt like Forrest Finn's. I don't care, JCB with his treasure hunt and things like that. I don't think it could possibly be the same thing because JCB doesn't have the life experience that Forrest Finn had, and that was a huge appeal for me going into it. I mean, here's this 90-year-old guy that was born in 1930s. First off, he was born in 1930s. My grandmother was born in 1930s. So like my grandmother was basically the same age as Forrest Finn. So for me, that was kind of interesting. Talking to Forrest Finn was like talking to my grandmother, and my talking to my grandmother was awesome because like she had all these like cool stories and stuff. So you're not gonna find that anywhere else unless some other old guy just like. I mean, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with treasure hunts, it's a lot like Ready Player One. Like you have this old guy who leaves behind a legacy. So it's kind of neat. This is looking like a horse. I like it. Nice. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I drone on about the Forrest Finn treasure hunt. I had a pretty good solve. My treasure hunt was MJ says my mother was born in 1924. Nice, cool. Yeah, I'm sure she has like a ton of great stories. Like if you think about that generation, just that generation in general, they lived through like World War II. They lived through basically all the notable historic events that I can think of. I mean, obviously there's like history before the 1920s. Honestly, I'm totally out of my like I would love to have been alive during the 1920s. That sounds awesome. 1920s, 1960s, basically any time other than now. Now sucks. Dogberg. So this is a little bit challenging compared to my other coffee pictures. I talked about it before. I have to somehow create this horizontal picture, which is a little bit challenging because most of mine are like vertical. But I think this is fine. We'll figure it out. I want it to look the same style as some of my other coffee pictures, so that's tough. Um, just in treasure hunts in general. So I don't think I'm ever going to get that out of my system. There is a local treasure hunt out in Louisville, Kentucky, that's based on The Secret. So for those of you who don't know what The Secret is, The Secret is a series of treasures that were hidden in the 1980s by a guy named Byron Priest. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He wrote a book, kind of a children's book, um, where he kind of like made up this race of like elves or woodland creatures, fairies, gnomes. I don't know what they would be called. But made up kind of like this lore of guys, relax. Made up this lore of like very woodland creatures essentially that hid treasures and stuff like that. So he came up with like 12 different casts, like these little tiny casts and stuff. And like if you found one, you could turn it in for like a gemstone. It was kind of cool, like an emerald or a diamond or sapphire, things like that. And not like a huge value. I think probably like 2 grand or something like that would be the most amount of money you can expect out of that, and that's probably like in modern times. So I don't know what that would be in 1980s dollars, but anyway, it's kind of cool. It kind of like fell by the wayside, kind of like fell into like myth and legend and so on, until the internet came about and it kind of resurfaced. Now it's a big deal. Again, if you watch Destination Unknown with Josh Gates, like they've done a bunch of different things on The Secret. Oh, some other compliments in here. Thanks, Lorraine. I appreciate that. Whenever you guys give me a compliment, I want to say thank you. And so appreciate it. Sorry if I'm droning on. If there's something in the chat that you guys want to draw my attention to, just let me know. Um, but yeah, so like The Secret is pretty cool. You guys can Google it. It's a pretty cool treasure hunt. So there's some question about whether or not those casts still exist because again, it was hidden in the 1980s. So a lot's happened since the 1980s. They were hidden in like major cities. So if you think about like urban development in San Francisco or New York or something like that, the chances of those casts still being around is pretty slim. Even though like they sometimes they pop up. Like Josh Gates has a episode where one was actually found in recent years. I forget what year. I think it was 2019. Um, Sorry, dog's over there drinking water. Sounds terrible, dog. Anyway, um, one of those was found in 2019, and it was a pretty big deal. Like, there's only 12 of them, so it's gained such notoriety that if you find one, you're basically immortalized in geek culture as like just being awesome. So definitely everybody wants to find one of those secret casks. Um, it's tough to say which one's more famous, the secret or Forrest Finn's. It would probably be pretty close to being even. Like Forrest Finn's was a big deal just because of the amount of money, but the secret is pretty big deal just because it's been going on for so long. But anyway, so there's 12 casts and so on. So there is a secret 13th tribute cask, which is into production, I guess. I don't know what the right word would be. But anyway, so he hid that and wrote some clues and so on. And there was a painting that was supposed to have clues in it and stuff. And some smart people, not myself, figured out, hey, guess what? This is in Louisville, Kentucky. It's like, oh, that's cool. Hey, looks cute, American Bulldog. Oh, you're talking about Lorraine's dog. Lorraine's dog might be a bulldog. Hmm, I don't remember. Anyway, so the secret tribute is definitely in Louisville, but and most people think it's in Cherokee Park. So obviously that's close proximity to me, and I've been out there to Cherokee Park. I want to say like at least a dozen times since 2019. Like it's actually a beautiful park, so it's a cool place to go to, regardless of whether you're looking for treasure or not. Um, but I've been out there, I've been probing the ground and things like that. So my point is, like, I'm into treasure hunts regardless, and to kind of illustrate how much I'm into treasure hunts, uh, New Year's Eve, 2020, I was out there at midnight digging in the ground looking for that treasure. That's how crazy I am for treasure, just because it's so much fun. So 2020 New Year's Eve, I'm out while everybody else is celebrating New Year's Eve, having a party, watching the ball drop, and so on. I'm out with a shovel in Cherokee Park in Louisville looking for a treasure. So, and that was not even worth a lot of money. That one was only at most I think it's worth like 2 grand. You get a pink tourmaline or whatever gemstone, which is kind of cool. I mean, they're not. It's like 3 carats. It's nothing like shabby about it. It's pretty nice. But I don't know if somebody should be out digging in the ground on New Year's Eve. The reason why I went out there on New Year's Eve is I thought, hey, everybody's going to be busy. Nobody's going to be out here like watching me dig. That's not true. Apparently, Cherokee Park is actually in a residential neighborhood, so you have people driving through there all the time, even on New Year's Eve. It's ridiculous. I like this guy. How we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great on time. All right, so I think he's got some details in him. I'm going to put in some more splashers. Splashers. It's called splatters. Just to see how that looks. Get some splatters going. Usually I put some splatters down here. it's a little bit different because it's not a horizontal picture. Like usually I do like a lot of abstraction down here. I don't know how that's going to look in this picture. Still kind of figuring that out. I think it's fine. I think this still looks kind of like my coffee paintings style. So I'm pretty happy with this. Room Dog says, that horse is hauling ass. Kid says, Jeremy, everybody will love this picture in the coffee shop. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do think I actually have enough pictures for that coffee. So for those of you guys who have been following my my coffee painting um, saga, I love the use of the term saga, but yeah, let's call it saga. So in January, or maybe it was February, a friend of mine, um, clean that up. Remind me to clean that up. A friend of mine asked me if I do a coffee painting of a horse for their new office, and I did one. And I liked how it turned out, and it got a lot of feedback, and people thought it was cool. Um, so I've been doing coffee paintings ever since. Well, there's a there's a local coffee shop that learned about my pictures, and they thought it was cool too. So they said I could hang up my pictures in their coffee shop just to like kind of get, I don't know, like more exposure, I guess, or something like that. Um, so the problem is I didn't have any pictures to actually hang up. I had the one that I did for my friend, but I didn't have any other ones. So I set about trying to create a bunch of them, and I think I finally got enough to where I feel comfortable that whether they're hanging in a coffee shop or I take them to an art show or something like that, I feel like I have enough of them. I have like more than 10. I don't remember exactly how many. I'd have to count them. But they're a great variety. Like you can see them all on this channel. Um, most of them are like wildlife pictures. I have a couple of pet pictures, like dogs and like at least one cat. Maybe there's two. I don't know. I'll have to look. But I think I have a pretty good collection so far. So now it's just a matter of, I got to get them framed, which you know, that's not cheap. Frames are expensive. So I got to get them framed. Um, got to get them matted because like when it's coffee, you should really have a separation between the picture and the glass. They should definitely be behind glass, and the reason why is because these could be affected by moisture. Oh, that's what I spray on them, by the way. I spray like a UV moisture protection, so they're pretty well protected, but they should still be behind glass in case somebody accidentally spills water or something on the picture. Um, so they should be behind glass, but you don't want them actually on the glass level because again, it's coffee, so maybe it might stick to the glass. So there should be like a slight separation between the picture and the glass itself. So matted, essentially. So they need to be framed and matted, and then yeah, I think I think I probably have more than they have space for, to be honest. But I don't know. There are a bunch of different variety of things, which is what I think is actually the coolest thing. Is they all pretty much you gotta do a video if you hang them in the coffee shop. Absolutely, I will. Like I don't know if they actually hang them up or they want me to hang them up. Either one is fine. Um, I gotta look at the space. They have like these wires and stuff that they hang from. I think it's just a matter of like putting them in frames and they're good to go. But absolutely, I will video that because it's been kind of a journey. Like here we are in June. It's been like 6 months since well maybe 5 months since the initial offer, and the only thing really holding it up is me and I don't know. Like I don't think that they would hesitate to put these pictures up. Like I don't feel like there'd be a long waiting period. They do hang up other people's art, so it's on rotation. But I think the last time I looked, there's nobody else's art hanging up. So relax, dog. So at some point, yeah, I'll get these framed. I'll put them up there. Probably that's the other tough part. The other tough part I think is choosing some. Like I have enough of these pictures where there's more than they have space for, so I'd have to choose which ones I want to hang up. But you know that was a challenge anyway because I also did the bourbon bottle with the coffee paintings, and I had to choose one, well, two for that, and that was a bit of a challenge as well. It it's tough making choices, you know, but you got to do it. That's what life is all about, right? Making choices, making choices, dealing with the consequences. Relax, pup. I like this guy though. When Dog says, "I got Matt board cutter." Yeah, you know that's actually a question I've got for myself is you know, do I buy a bunch of frames? I mean, it's not like I'm completely skillless. I've got tools to actually like. Pretty sure I've got all the stuff I might need to make a frame. I don't know. I haven't decided really. Because like one of like the bigger pictures that I do, I think it's like at least $30 for a decent frame. I like the white frames, so like the white bordered frames with the mat and so on. I think those are at least $30. I'm not sure if those are for glass or plexiglass. I'd have to look into that. You know, just the snob in me says it should be behind glass and not plexiglass, but I guess it really doesn't matter. Um, but those are at least $30. So I guess like if you're dealing with like three paintings, that's like $100. And then I also made some of these smaller paintings. So this is 9 by 12. So this is included. That's a smaller frame. The big ones are I think 12 by 18. Which reminds me, I should probably do at least one more big one. Because like trying to think. The only big ones I've got is like I got a buffalo, I got a wolf. It's disgusting dog. Dog over there just lapping up water. Um, I'd have to look at my big ones, big pictures. Some of my big pictures have found homes. Like I did an owl that found a home. I did a deer that found a home. Some of these probably should be replaced, I guess, just for my collection. But it's kind of fun. I mean, I do consider this kind of like a collection. It's a collection of coffee paintings. I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing these coffee paintings. Of all the art that I do, it's probably the ones that I would consider most consistent in terms of you know, like a series almost. Like this is probably like the most consistent series I have worked on. Some of my other pictures are kind of all over the place. The original charcoal that I did this off of would probably be the start of a new like series. Have you done a trash panda yet? Great question. Yes, I have done a couple of trash pandas in various different styles. I did a trash panda in coffee. You can find that on the channel. That one found a home, found a great home for that one. Um, but yeah, I've done a trash panda. Not to say I wouldn't do another trash panda. I actually really enjoyed doing that one. That one was pretty cool. I liked how it turned out. I love I love raccoons' faces. They're adorable, cute. Like obviously I would love to do more um raccoons. I've got a personal history with raccoons that I've talked about on this channel too, about how I'm a little bit scared of them because they're bullies. They're like little nature bullies. But yeah, I love doing trash pandas. I did a raccoon once, I think, in terms of like coffee paintings. I'm always on the lookout for other wildlife creatures. So like I'll always do horses. Horses are kind of like just for like where I live and stuff. They're great go-to subject matters. Dogs, obviously, I would always do dogs. Um, but like when it comes to like other wildlife creatures and stuff like that, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I have trouble coming up with ideas for those, but I don't know. Baby raccoons are the cutest. Yeah, just raccoons in general. Larry says, I'm an ex-carpenter who works with glass and aluminum now. I plan on putting Zeus and Bandit under glass. Awesome. Um, yeah, that's good because probably like when I send that to you, it's not going to be framed. Hopefully that's okay. Um, but yeah, the frame for that would be 12 by 18. That's the kind of paper I use for that. Which reminds me, that's what I need to work on this weekend. Forget about the carnival. I need to finish that up. So you're going to make the frame for that yourself, Larry. That's cool. I would love to see a picture of that when that happens. If you need the dimensions, I can go ahead and send those to you now, so you can get started on it. That's a great example of like things that, you know, I I don't know. I just get kind of like backed up sometimes. Feel like there's so many things I want to do. It's tough to find time for everything. I love this horse though. This is looking pretty good so far, I think. I think that'll probably dry pretty cool. We're probably nearing a kind of like a stopping point where I kind of want to let things dry, see how they like. Don't burn this one. I think we're probably getting to a point where I want to let it dry, see how things actually look when they're all dried, and then I come in with little details here and there. 12 by 18, absolutely. Got it. What kind of relief? What do you mean by relief? Do you mean like the texture of the paper? It's do you mean like the depth of the actual paper, or I'm not sure what you mean by like relief. Do you mean like how much space? I'm not sure. You you've got borders. Okay, so 12 by 18. I'd have to measure it, but consider it like maybe a half-inch border on each side. And then what I recommend is making something that's bigger, obviously, than 12 by 18, and then actually putting in like a mat. So I would recommend um, having 12 by 18 as a viewable area. So that would be the space inside the mat. And then your frame would be whatever size you actually want it to be on the wall. That's my recommendation. Um, Feel free to shoot me an email. I can probably think of better direction than that. Like I can actually measure things out. My guess is like I don't have it like right in front of me. My guess is a half-inch border on each side, or like at least a quarter of an inch. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna commit to finishing that up this weekend. It's been a while. Sometimes I forget that I have these projects that I'm supposed to be finishing up. I do apologize about that. I kind of flake on things. I really should be working on these during these live streams instead of taking on, you know, like separate projects. It's just whenever I go to do the live stream, I'm like, well, what am I going to work on today? Oh, that's right. I did mention last week about the horse and coffee. That's my thinking pattern on these things. It's like, oh, that's right. I did mention that, didn't I? I'm liking this guy. All right, so I'm gonna do one more thing, and then I think we'll probably call this done for tonight. I'll probably put in more like details. So I am kind of curious, where would I want circles? So if I dropped a lot of water in here, if I tried to put in like a coffee cup circle, I think here is a good spot for that. I like putting in these coffee cup circles. I think that they just really hammer home the idea that this is coffee that we're dealing with. Oh man, I'm gonna put one in here, but I may regret this. There you go, like a little light one. I think that's fine. That's cool. Yeah, I think that's cool. Okay. Husker Du says, beautiful horse. Thank you so much. No, Larry, thank you. I really appreciate I really appreciate the opportunity to draw your puppies. They're beautiful puppies. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Larry's puppies, I'm going to finish that up and I'm going to post it to the community tab. But they're adorable. Like in the picture I was working on in watercolor, um, really captures their spirit. Like they are adorable, beautiful animals to be painting. They're both like they've got smooth skin, so you get all the muscle features and stuff like that. Those are the ones that are I particularly like. You know, like I don't mind doing fur, like really fluffy fur and stuff like that. But if you give me a smooth haired dog where I can like focus on like muscle tone and things like that, those are fun. They are good dogs. I just got to finish up that bit with the blanket behind them. That's the part I haven't finished, but it's okay. Gives me a project to work on this weekend. I think it'll work out. That and I also have to do Larry's challenge with the fair, but I think that's the next week thing. If I go to the fair this weekend, like I can actually hear them doing like some sort of tractor pull or something right now. Because again, the fairgrounds is like less than a mile away from here. This is kind of cool. I think I'm going to put in one more somewhere like around here. Yeah. So it's like three circles. I like that. That's pretty cool. And then I think again, I'm gonna let it dry just to see how these things pull because like that's so important. Some of these things I let dry overnight or at least for a couple of hours. Um, I feel like drawing Larry wrestling a gator. That's great. Yeah, so some of these things I have to let pool and just kind of like dry and just see where they go because I'm kind of curious how that turns out. One of the things I like to do, I do like to get like some crustiness area down in here, which again is so much different for like um a portrait piece. By portrait I mean like portrait layout with this landscape format. It's outside of my normal style, so it's kind of a little bit strange. That's okay. So one of the things that I like to do with coffee is that I like to get in these crusty areas. So like these dark crusty areas where I kind of stipple it in. I stipple in the like this kind of almost um, syrupy kind of mix of it. Husker Du says, "Gotta go, Jeremy. Thanks for the live stream, much appreciated." Yeah, I appreciate it as well. I have a good one. I appreciate you stopping in. I am wrapping this up soon, so you're not really missing much. Just putting in a little bit of detail that I will wait until it dries. Mostly it's these pools here. Like these take a while to dry, and I'm not sure how they're going to look. I can clean that up so that it doesn't dry, like it dries a lot quicker. But I don't like doing that. I like to just like let it be, kind of see how it goes. Um, I like this brush for doing like this kind of stipple stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know, some kind of hairbrush. But all right. So I am going to go ahead and call this, I think, done for now. I'll probably come back in the morning and put in some final details. I'll take a picture of it, put it up on the community tab. But if you recall, the whole idea behind this is to create a coffee painting that kind of matches the charcoal picture that I done. So it's a little bit different, but it's kind of in the same vein. So I consider this a success. So like, yeah, I think that this one's got a bigger face. So maybe a different breed of horse, but certainly same kind of style. I don't know which one I like better. I guess it comes down to personal preference. Some people like charcoal, some people like coffee. I always, default go with coffee, but it's up to the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Um, the important thing to me is that this one matches the style of my other coffee paintings, so I'm going to do that evaluation in the morning, kind of like go from there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. All right, so okay, Larry says I like both. Rome Dog says, dang, they're both great. Tom says, looks so good. Thanks, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. So I think that's about it for me tonight. Let me go back to this. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me as always. On a Thursday night. I do have some challenges this weekend. I'm going to finish up Larry's picture. I'm going to go to the county fair that's going on. I can hear it outside the window. Again, like I said, the fairgrounds are only like an hour away. I think that'll be a pretty cool picture. Somehow I'm going to get the neon lights and some sort of like motion and action in it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, so that sounds like a fun challenge. So I think that I got the work cut out for me for this weekend. So hopefully you guys have a happy and productive weekend yourself. Enjoy your time outdoors. Hopefully the weather will be great where you guys are. I am going to be in the lab creating some really cool art. So yeah, that sounds like fun. Um, but anyway, I'll see you guys Tuesday. If I don't do a live stream on Saturday, which I probably won't this week, but maybe I will. Who knows? I'll keep it a surprise. In any case, otherwise I'll see you guys Tuesday. So have a good one. See you guys. Bear, say bye. Say bye. Good night. All right, see you guys. Bye. Have a good one. You guys are awesome.